The only English-speaking country seated on the South American continent, with a population of just over 700,000, with its capital Georgetown on the coastline, Guyana earns a significant amount of its gross domestic product, that's the GDP, from gold mining, a large employment sector located in the country's interior regions. The sector is predominantly populated with men. Women are often recruited from the coastlands and other parts of the country to work in the gold mining districts of the country. They are usually employed as cooks, shop attendants, among other jobs, with the promise of being hugely compensated. However, in most cases, things usually take a different turn once they would have arrived at these interior locations.
Trafficking in persons raised its ugly head in Guyana well over a decade ago, even though some believe the trade existed over a longer period of time. Many feel the Guyana government has done very little to effectively address trafficking in persons. Our requests to government officials for interviews on this subject have not been granted. Nevertheless, one newly formed non-governmental organization, NGO, is championing the fight against trafficking in persons. Its efforts include, but not limited to, rescuing several girls from remote interior locations within Guyana. The Guyana Women Miners Association. The body's president, Simona Brooms, was recognized by the United States government through its State Department for her work in trying to stem the flow of trafficking in persons in Guyana. Sitting down with the fledgling women-based association, a lot about its work in the area of trafficking in persons was uncovered.
We launched on January the 25th, 2012. And how we really get started, it's a brainchild of mine. Because of my experience in mining for 26 years, and because of my experience as a female miner out there, I just wanted to fight for the less vulnerable ones and those that are less fortunate in the mining sector.
Within the association, there is a trafficking unit. The unit sources its own funds and at times its members using their personal monies. A rescue mission costing about $6,000 is then embarked upon.
We would get started one Sunday or Saturday morning, leaving our homes about 2 a.m. in the morning, bad road, bad weather, and just journeying out and start to go out there and talk to the men also. Talk to the women, going to the most desolate places that persons wouldn't go.
Once the team is in the field, the unit makes several stops at shops which are usually known for such activities. The ladies are usually educated on their rights.
They themselves would identify victims. For example, we were there and educating some prostitutes, and she said, in spite I'm above 18 years, I really want to go home, and this is my situation. And she's held there for 7 months. No communication, her family and all of that.
The situation and stories emanating from Guyana regarding human trafficking don't paint a good picture.
Dealing with a victim who was trafficked, a survivor from age 13, and to really hear her story coming from an area with no communication, no electricity, and leave home to spend Christmas holiday in the city, and then find herself being trafficked by a policeman. And being raped also by a said policeman, and feels that she has no control over herself, and more so is scared because it's a policeman that she's trafficked by.
This particular story, nevertheless, has a positive ending.
I end up fostering her to really work a lot with her, and now she's with the vice president and being fostered because at her age, want to give her an education and all of that. So she really stand out because she became a part of us as an organization.
For the year 2013, the association rescued a record number of 26 women and girls. However, the association has had its fair share of challenges.
Funding, support, government support, having to deal with the police.
The Combating Trafficking of Persons Act of 2005 prohibits all form of trafficking and prescribes stringent penalties ranging from 3 years to life imprisonment, commensurate with rape.
I think the act is very clear in simple language. Anybody could understand, but not even the ministers and so on, which the act speaks about in their responsibility, the victim, about the task force. And if the task force was really up and functioning according to the act, then my NGO would not have to have the burden of raising awareness, sensitization, rescuing the victim, fighting with the police, taking them through the system.
Guyana currently stands at Tier 2 on the watch list for trafficking in persons, and according to Ms. Brooms, all must work together in a holistic manner to combat this growing concern.
Human trafficking is at a stage that I think that all Guyanese, public sector, government, all NGOs should really come together at this time to address.
Well, the road ahead is a long one, certainly. Handel Duncan, reporting from Guyana.